Okay, Assalamu alaikum and good morning. Today I'm going to show you another example of login system with session and database. Okay, providing with you in the lecture notes. If you download from Google Drive, our group Google Drive, so we have provided all this file that based on config.php, create underscore user.php, insert underscore data underscore user.php, login.php, check underscore login.php, document.php, and document underscore level.php. All right, if you're looking into the slide of our presentation, you can see that first thing you need to change the code. Okay, change username, password, database to your web server. Save the file and then upload to your web hosting or maybe your local host. Then you can execute your applications. Okay, so if you're looking into the file that we give it to you, we have put the data called user underscore name and the password. So you have to check the password in the PHP file and also the database that you created. Okay, never mind, I will come back to you after this to talk about username and password. Then if you able to log in, you can get this message: all logged in user can view this page. Welcome user to your username. You are user level 2. So in our programming sample that we give it to you, we created two level of user. One is level user 1 and number 2 is level user 2. It's depend on you which level that you want to create in your database. So that's the way how you're going to understand the PHP programming that refer to login system with session and database. Okay. Apart from login system and database, I will talk about cookies, but I'll come back to cookies later on. What on the practical part, you can see a lot of example in W3 School about cookies. So I will give you some idea about cookies. A cookies is a small text file in which a website can store different information. A cookie is often used to identify a user. Okay, so the difference between session and cookies. Normally, cookies is a small text file that website reflects to identify of the user. Normally, these cookies will save on the client, means that your browser, okay, your computer, and not on the server. Okay, most cookie will have the expired, and then let's say you try to remove history or maybe remove history of your web browser, and then there will be some option whether you want to remove username and password authorization and so on. This will also remove all the cookies as well. Okay, what is cookies? A cookies is often used to identify user, to track certain user detail like numbers of visits, names, and so on. Okay, how to create cookies? If you look into this slide, you can see set cookies. This is functions. Set cookies functions, and then you can set cookies with name, value, expired path, and domain. And then this is the syntax that how you create a cookies. Okay, this is explanation, the names of your cookies. What is the name that you want to put as your cookies variables, names variables, and then the value and also the expiry. So this is example, the syntax how to set a cookies. Let's say set cookies user Alex Porter time plus 36 3600s. Okay, and then example number 2, you see here we put means that the user can only allow to use the website for these times. Okay, so expired time is set to 1 hour 60 seconds or 60 minutes. You can see this is you can search from internet what is the exact time of plus 3600 for the time functions. Okay, so how to retrieve a cookie's value? That's quite straightforward by using $_ underscore cookies, echoes, and this is how you're going to retrieve a cookies value, right? So just echo cookies and with a name. It will reflect to the cookie names, okay? This is the real source code. By using isSet, okay, if isSet cookies user, welcome to the user. Otherwise, it will go welcome guest, something like to show that your cookies is working. You have to use isSet and then you check the cookies of the users. Okay. How to retrieve cookies value? This is the way how to do example. Okay. If isSet underscore cookies name, echo cookie names, not and it's not self. Else cookies name is set. Okay. This is something real code that you can make use of it to show that whether the cookie names, this is a cookie names is set, and this is cookie name, else value is retrieved. Okay. How to delete cookie? This is quite straightforward. Just set cookies expired time and put it negative 3600. Reflects to what the time that you just set up earlier on the early time. Who can read the cookies? Okay, you can also put some information that specific user can only use your use to review of to view your cookies, right? Okay, you just go to this slide and try to understand them and try with your own using coding that given. You can go to W3 School to get the sample of cookies programming and try to understand. There's a difference between session and cookies. What are the differences? Session normally put in the server, whereas cookies set into the user file in user computer, maybe in the browser. You might see in the browser. And both are the same principle. They're dealing with time-based and also looking into authorizations. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to talk about how are you going to make use of our programming tools that we give it to you on our lecture notes. We give you all this file, the tutorial that called tutorial number 2. Okay. If you go to this particular website, okay, this is the programming that we give it to you, starting with check underscore login, config, and so on. You can see activity we give to you from Google Drive. Go to tutorial MySQL. Forget about this intro PHP because intro PHP is on my computer, my mom server. You just refer to tutorial MySQL, activities login to, and tutorial login to. Okay, you can see all this file has been given to you. One of the things that I want to show to you, demonstrate to you, is you have to start learning. Okay, in terms of programming, you have to understand number one. Okay, start with okay, in a minute. Start with understanding login .php. Okay, then from here you move to something. You will see the programming will ask you to go for check login. Okay, .php. Then you move to config .php. Right, then it will go straight to, this is number 2, this is number 3, this is number 4, and we'll go to create use underscore user name and PHP. So then it will go for number 5. Number 5, create user and this .php. Oh, okay, we already have this one. Sorry. So no, this is not number 5. Number 5, you're going to insert and data, okay, of the user.php. So if you're looking into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can see that the programming will go like this. Okay, this is first part. Okay, this is second part, right? For the first part, if you check the programming, the VS Code I'm using VS Code, you can see that you go to the login first, and then they will check login.php, and then they will go for config. The config, you have to change a lot of information as well. Then that's number first part. Okay, if your username and password is correct, then it will go to some message showing that you are in the right track. Otherwise, you are not registered, something like that. Okay, if you found that in your case, if you found that occurred to your problem, then you have to create username first. You go to the user underscore user.php, create your user, and then insert the data. So that's why I'm saying that in order to understand the flow of the programming, especially this part of programming, you can see this. Okay, you have to know which one to refer for. Okay, refer first. For that's why I'm putting this rule. Number one, login.php, check login.php, and then config. From here, you have to set a lot of database, and then username. You can see a lot of variables about username and password has been setting that based on PHP programming. Okay, so if you're looking into this particular VS Code, you can see what I'm just told you, right? You can see login2. Then you go to login, okay, login.php. This is the one that the programming all about. And then you see check login.php underscore login.php. Then you go to check login.php. You can see there's a long code here. Include config.php, right? So this is something like before you can go to continue your programming, there will be a session start, session underscore start, then include config.php. You see this config.php. From here, you have to change your detail about your local host, means that I'm using localhost, my root password and root name and username and password, and then that's all. This is another important things that you have to change. What data, which database that you are using, right? After you finish your config, you go to the check in again. You can understand that you have to have a username, a correct username. Okay, so from here you can see that they are using user as the table, and then in the username, the variable of username has been taken from the URL. Sorry, not URL, from form, HTML form, and then they check you whether you are in the right track or not. So if you are in the right track, they will give you this information. Okay, see that this is if you are in the wrong track, if you are now in the correct login, but if you wrong track, you are not correctly login. Okay, you will get this one. Okay, after you go through this file, it will give you whether you are successful or not success. Okay, that's the way how you have to understand the code. Okay, so that's why I'm asking you to try yourself looking into number one, login.php, and then check login.php. Then only you can get go through this particular URL, username and password. But if you want to make it make sure that username and password is correct, you can go to create username and then insert data first. Okay, let me show you something related. Okay, insert username is one of them. Okay, inserted was successfully because I already put pre-design. Okay, insert username. If you're looking into insert data, what I did is I put it username underscore 1 and password underscore 1. Okay, this is my username and password that put it into username table. Okay, this is the table. Okay, this is the password, and the second password is username 2 and password 2. That's the reason why when you are using login, you able to get pass it through. Let's say I put username underscore 1, okay, and the password is password underscore 1. So we give you this page will check login. You are not logging correctly, so something wrong with the password. So you have to check whether you are using the right one or the wrong one. Okay, let me check first, but they will be based on this particular password. Okay, whether it's already appear or not. If not, then you have to create your username. Let's say we start you creating password first. Okay, insert data. We go for insert data, right? Insert data, insert data. Okay, we put. Let's say I'm giving you new password. I'm not going to. Uh, I'm not going to edit the code, but I will just remove the original code for you to see the difference. Okay, let's say I'm changing this to my name Azman, and the password should be Azman. Okay, Azman, and level 1 Azman 123. Let's say I put it like that, and then insert data. So insert data, insertion is successfully. Then I go to login. Okay, I'm putting Azman and then Azman 123. You can see you are now correctly logged. Okay, it means that you are in the session and you are in the right track. Okay, so welcome Azman. Your user level is 1. This is because of the programming that I put it here, Azman level 1. So that's the way. This is very important. That's why I want you to understand the first thing, login.php, then check login. This is the flow of the programming of the database PHP. And then if you cannot go to this programming because of username and password, you have to go for step number 4 and number 5. Okay, create username. Sorry, create user. This is just create a table. Okay, and then this is insert the data. All right. So I hope you can go through this particular slide one by one, and then try yourself and masters your knowledge about login system with session and database. Thank you for now, and this is our last lecture for our web programming course, focusing on lecture notes. But the next class, I'm going to talk about your project. When are you going to submit your project and do your video presentation of your project? Okay, thank you for now.